Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Steph with Steph's on a Budget, and I'm finally getting to my January debt update video that I told you guys about. So let's go ahead and just jump right in and see how we did on our debt in January. So I'm going to be using this debt payment plan tracker from the Budget Moms book, and I've already kind of listed my debts, their balances, the interest rates, and then my minimum payments. One thing I do different is normally this section here says something like priority. I don't really pay attention to the priority of my debts. I like to, however, track how much I actually sent to that debt. So I just kind of change that to payments to fit my need. And then so we'll go through, see how much we paid for each one, and then where we're going to be starting our February month with our debt. And then we'll move over to our kind of debt trackers. So starting with the Home Depot, you guys know this is my priority debt. So as of December 30th, it would be, because that's the day before my first payday in January. So the balance on the Home Depot card was $2,913.10. That sits at a 0% interest, or so I thought. And the minimum payment on that account was $39. But for January, we sent $850 to our Home Depot card. So remember, my debt snowball is $500, so that means we were able to throw an extra $350 towards that debt. So that's great. Okay, moving to the next one, we have a credit card that was at $451.80. Minimum payment there was $25, and we paid $75 towards that credit card. Our next credit card is $457.78, also at 26%, also minimum payment of $25. And we also paid $75 to that card. Next credit card is $3,060.53. 13% minimum payment on that is $60, and we sent $100 to this account. Next credit card was $7,988.81 it was 16%, but this card is actually 19% now with the increasing interest rates. So there's that. Minimum payment was $218, and we sent $220 to this card. Our Amazon was at $667.86, minimum payment $30, and we sent $75 to this one. Apple Card was at $3,421.99. Minimum payment, I didn't know this at the time. I guesstimated about $150, and that's pretty accurate. So for this card, we sent $200 to that one. Next credit card, $825.41. This has like a promotional rate of like 5%. Minimum payment is $25, and we sent $75. Okay, my Pandora credit card was $443.16, minimum payment of $30, and we sent $50 to that one. We didn't send a payment to the truck because that first payment is not due until March. However, we did pull that money out of the budget. You probably remember seeing in the budget with me. We pulled it out of the budget and it went into savings. Our goal is to kind of refinance this at some point. And then, so, you know, I'd like to get to where we're making some extra on principal, and that's likely where that savings will go to. Student loans was at $6,998. We didn't pay anything towards that, but remember that stays in the budget and we still allocate that money, but it just goes into the debt snowball. And then our mortgage, we paid $2,300 to for the month. So we send an extra $4 to principal on that monthly. So let's add that up and we'll see how much we sent towards debt total for January. Let me move this over where you can actually see me. Sorry about that, guys. So I know I've said several times, just toying around with what would it look like dropping these down to the minimum and sending all of that to the priority debt, but obviously I didn't do that. But you know, these ones at 75, I usually pay 100 to, so I did make some adjustments. I'm just not quite yet comfortable with paying a minimum, so I don't know if I ever will be. You know, and debt payoff finances, it's all personal, you guys. You don't have to strictly 100% only stick to the snowball or the avalanche, or how you prioritize your debt. I change my debt priorities all the time. Sometimes I want to free up the biggest payment. Sometimes there's just a debt that just nags me for whatever reason. That particular debt might just drive me nuts and I just got to get rid of it. And so I'll make that the priority, even though it might not fit in the snowball or avalanche method. And that's okay, as long as you're paying towards debt and making progress. You're going to find your debt journey is different than others, and that's okay. You just do what works for you and your family. So total, we sent $4,020 to debt in January. That's quite a bit. Jumping down here, so you can see, like, normally you track like your minimum and anything extra, so all these extra bits we would track here, but that's just, I don't know, I just don't care to use this sheet in that way. Sorry to bump you guys. So this seems to work for me and I can understand it, and I like it that way. So our last month, this is our first month tracking, so we didn't have a last month, so we're going to total this all up, our new balances, and that will be our starting this month total debt. And so in February, we'll transfer this number over and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So, okay, so let's flip over here, and I am, just for the sake of ease, I'm going to just move this over here for a minute, and I'm going to write down the new balances. And spoiler alert, some of these have gone up. So, you know, the math might not math if you're mathing on your end. But our February starting balance for the Home Depot was down to $2,075.77. So that's great. Almost $900 off of that, you guys. That's awesome. This next one is at $387.40. And then our next capital one, here's one that went up, and this had to do with some of that replacing of the garbage disposal and something for my middle daughter. So that unfortunately went up a little bit, but you know, it just is what it is. This next one also went up, and that's because we have an annual subscription for our home security cameras, and I always forget it, always. And so that $110, it goes to this account to keep this account active, and I totally forgot about it, so that balance went up, not because of any spending we did, but because of that annual subscription on there. So our next one was at $796190, which is not a big difference. It's just like a $20 difference. And this card does have $128 of that was interest. So I can tell you now that's going to annoy me. And so at some point that will probably become the priority pretty quick. So our Amazon is at $749.02. The Apple did come down, $3,307, so $3,337 for that one and 36 cents. $881.63 on the Bank of America. So a couple of these cards are my husband's only, like I don't have access to the account, like he has to get me in there and stuff. And so it does appear that he was doing a little spending there. Pandora did come down though, $396.81. And then no change, obviously, on the vehicle here. Student loan, obviously that is going to be the same. Get my hand to cooperate there. So still $6,998. And then the mortgage, those of you that have a mortgage, you probably know when you're just brand new in a mortgage, not very much goes to the principal. So I don't tend to look at that too much because it's pretty disappointing in honesty. But I did have somebody ask me, sorry for the bump, man, your mortgage seems high. My mortgage is actually about $1,500, but my mortgage does include homeowners insurance. We also obviously didn't have 20% down, so we pay, you pay that additional, mortgage insurance until you hit that 20% in your loan, which usually isn't until about 10 years in. So that bit will eventually fall off. We also bought in a community that has a PID, and so we pay a couple hundred extra for that, and hopefully that PID's only for about 10 more years or so. So, and we knew that going in, and that was a choice we made to be in the area for my kids to go to the schools that we wanted them to go to. So, there's a lot rolled into our mortgage that some people pay separately, but, so that's the mortgage. But here are our new balances. So I'm going to pop this back in and let's add it up and see what our new February starting debt is going to be. Not as good as I was hoping, but some months are just going to be like that, you guys. They are not always winners. All right, let's throw this big number in there. Actually, I'm going to take the mortgage out of this number because I'm not including it in this number. Remember, I'm breaking it down. Really, I want to focus on the credit card debt, then the vehicle, and then the mortgage. So we've got a long ways to go before we get to this. And like I said in my original debt confession, if I look at the big 400 and some odd thousand number, oh, that's disheartening. So I've got to, break it down in chunks that I can swallow. So our new balance, yay, at least it's less, right? That's a win. Not as less as we were hoping, but it's something. So our new balance is $92,614.94. Which is almost 1%, not quite. So 0.9% paid off. So let's pop this number in here too, $92,614.94. And that's what's going to carry over to February. So what we'll do is, let me go ahead and flip to that sheet now, and then I'll need to fill that in later. But so last month's total is now $92,614.94, and then this is $93,414.94. 312 and 44. So in February, we'll have, you know, we'll be able to see, you know, now we have a last month starting since this was our first month, and then on, so on and so on. So that's actually going to take care of this book. So let's jump over to this one that has like all my debt trackers in it. And let's find this guy. So this one might look familiar. Let me just make sure you guys are in frame, and that looks good. So our new total, let me remind myself, y'all, sorry. Is, okay, and let's make this fun, and we'll do orange to kind of match the color here. So 92, 614, 94. Okay. All right. And then we're going to switch to our kind of debt snowball tracker. And I did get a little ahead of myself on this one, and that's okay. So let's break down all of our payments here. So let's do this. Sorry, I'm going to turn you guys. So our starting balance on the 31st was $2,913.10. Okay, and then our first payment we made, let's take a look, in January was on on 12/31, we paid $750. No interest accrued there. So 2,913 and 10 minus 750 left us with $2,163. Whoops. Backwards. $2,163.10. Okay, and then on the 13th of January, so let's bring this number down, we made another payment of $100. So there's our $850, and we did accrue a little interest at this point, $12.67. Until I started like really looking at this one, you guys, I really did not understand how this credit card worked. I feel like I got a good handle on it now. So I'm wanting to get this done because a big chunk of this is interest-free, and that expires in July. And if it's not paid off by July, it's not going to my card's not going to get interest based on what the balance is at the time. It's going to go back to the very beginning of that installment and add all of the interest that I would have accrued in that promotional period, whether it's the balance or not. So once I saw that happen with a previous promotional, that's why I was like, I got to get this card paid off. So a very small amount of the spending on this card is just like swiping in the store, and so that little bit is earning some interest. So that's where that little bit of interest is coming from. Not anything I'm overly worried about, but at least now I feel like I kind of understand what's going on. So let's take the 2,163 minus the 100 plus the $12.67 in interest. So that left us with a balance of $2,075.77. But I got overly excited working on this morning. So we're gonna just peek into halfway into February as well, because I started coloring. Like I said, I got excited. So also on, let me pull it up so I tell you guys accurately. So we're just going to bring it up to date today versus just in January. So on January 27th, and you're probably thinking, well, that's still January, Stephanie, but remember that the 27th is part of my February budget. So we had, you know, I love these pens and the colors they come in, but I'll be honest and say they really don't write very well. Okay, so $2,075, and then we made another payment for this payday of $700. So again, that's $200 over our snowball, which is great. No other interest has accrued. So if we take that $2,075 minus the $700, that brings us to $1,375.77. Okay, and then today is February. Again, sorry that you're crooked, you guys. It's easier for me to write. February 1st. Remember when we did our cash stuffing, we pulled out that debt snowball that we had, and we made another payment of that $136. No interest has accrued from that just yet. So minus 136 gives us a balance of $1,239.77, you guys. That's what this card is sitting at today. So from December 31st to February 1st, we were able to pay off how much? Okay. So we were able to pay off $1,673.33 to this Home Depot card, which is awesome in a month, you guys, considering our snowball is $500. But again, this is like 2 months really. So I guess you would say the snowball's $1,000. So we were able to put an extra $673 to this, you guys. That's amazing. So sometimes the bigger numbers, like I said, don't always reflect, you know, what you're hoping to see. But when you kind of break it down like this, you can truly see some good progress happening. So I know it seems funny to kind of track all these things, although likely if you're here, you're like-minded people and you're probably doing the same thing. It just kind of adds a little fun and, you know, a way to kind of celebrate your successes a little bit. So we're almost there with this guy. I feel pretty confident we should be able to reach our April 30th payoff date, hopefully sooner, but at least by April 30th, hopefully. So our next tracker was our coloring, and we were able to color in 17 of our credit cards, and that was a lot of coloring, so I did it off camera and looks like this. So we're a little over halfway, you guys, which is amazing. All right, you guys, so that's going to take care of my January debt snowball update. If you like this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. So like, subscribe, and come back for the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.